Hi guys. I was asked to do this example by Jackson because there was no video for chapter 4, and number 7 is a good example to do from chapter 7. Let me share my screen at some point. Share screen. And we're going to be doing a question from chapter. Let's go back to the assignment. Question 7, which I already did to practice before this, but let's do a similar question, which means they just changed the numbers. So we're giving data, and namely the number of salespeople in a bookstore and how many sales resulted from that. Obviously, the more salespeople, the more sales. And this is the data. You can see that as the number of salespeople increase, the amount of sales increases pretty much in a straight line. So if you have 6 is 14, and the data itself can be transferred to Excel, where we can very easily calculate the slope and the intercept, which I'll discuss in a moment. But I'm going to do it in StatCrunch, which is even easier, I believe. Now, again, the general theory behind this, and there's a lot of theory, even calculus, by the way, is described in my other videos that are attached to this document. But I'll be discussing that in later chapters when we come back to regression. But right now, we'll just do it in a practical way. And let's go to stat, regression, and simple linear is the term that we use when we have one x and one y. In this case, simple linear regression. You tell the computer what's the x variable, which is the one you're using to make a prediction, and that's the number of salespeople. The y variable is the sales itself in thousands, so 11 means $11,000, and 6 means $6,000. We don't use where, we don't use group. In later chapters, we'll be using this, and that's quite important to understand, and we'll get back to this in later chapters. Let's do a graph, and let's compute. And this is it. This is the picture. This is the data as for example, this particular day we had 3 salesmen and made about, I don't know, $13,000 in sales. And it looks like pretty much the data follows a straight line. And if you want to get into a good summary, a straight line, if you recall from high school, was the famous equation y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the intercept. But in this book, they call it, for various reasons, as I explained in the other videos, y hat, which means the predicted y, or the predicted sales, equals B0, B sub 0, which is the intercept, plus B1, which is the slope, times X. So I would guess, just looking at this picture, that the slope looks like 45-degree line. Pretty much, not exactly, but a little bit less. And the intercept, which is where the line crosses the y-axis, is at around 10. So I would say 10 plus 1x looks like the right answer. But the actual answer is 7. The intercept is 7.84, pretty close to 10. And the slope is 1.03, very close to 1. And all this other stuff we'll learn about in later chapters. But we now can answer the book's question. They're going to ask you what is the intercept. I'm going to put down 7.84. It's really 7.85 if you round it, but we're given some leeway. So round, oh, the slope, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the slope is 1.033. So put that here. I'm sure, oops. Put it here, Control V, check answer to move on to the next thing. And we did a good job. Okay. What does B1 mean? Well, again, B1 means in this, if you go back to high school, the slope is every time you increase the X by one, which in this case is $1,000, I'm sorry, increase the number of salesmen by one, you're going to increase the sales by the slope. So since the slope was 1.033 and it's in units of $1,000, it means on average an increase. Oh, I'm sorry. It's an additional 1,033. Remember, 1.033 is in units of 1,000, so you're going to multiply it by 1,000. Is it associated with an increase of one salesperson? And it's good. Find the intercept. Well, we don't have to do that. There's formulas, of course, but we just have to copy it from here. 7.847, Control C, back to here. Paste. Oh, God, don't you paste it? Control V, check answer, and we're on our way. That number is not in thousands. That's the original number. Okay. How do you interpret the B0? Is it meaningful? Well, one could argue it is meaningful. I mean, if you have zero salespeople, you're still going to get some sales because of the internet or online, etc. But I looked at the book's answer. The book is old-fashioned, and they said it's not meaningful because if you have zero salespeople, you can't make any sales. So they're going to say, I think that's the answer is part A. An additional 1,033. I'm sorry, B0. It means it's part. The answer is D. On average, $7 and 7.847. Check answer. Oh, do we have to multiply? 7.8. Maybe they want you. Maybe they want it to be multiplied by 1,000. Let's see if that's the right answer. Yes, they wanted to. I take it back. The intercept also, since it's on the right side of the equation and the left side of the equation is in thousands of dollars, it's also got to be multiplied by 1,000. Okay, write the equation, and we know the equation is 7.847 plus the intercept, which we said before was 1.033. That's the equation. Next, they ask you if 17 people are working, what are the sales? Well, we have this from before. If there are 17 people, that's around here. So we're predicting around this amount. I would say it's around $2,300 or $23,000. But the proper way to do it is multiply. Now we know the number of sales is 17. So 17 times 1.033. I'm doing this in a calculator, times 17 equals plus the 7.847 equals 25.408, but that's in units of 1,000, so you multiply it by 1,000, so it's 25,408. Okay, now we're told that even though the prediction is 25,408, the sales were actually 25,000. So what is the value of the residual? Well, the residual is the predicted, it's y minus 1, sorry, it's the actual minus the predicted. So 25,000 minus 25,408 is minus 408. That's the, and then it says the sales have been overestimated by $408. So this answer is overestimated. And that's it. We're done. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop the recording and let me know if you have any other questions.